Awake and Sing is a drama written by American playwright Clifford Odets. The play was initially produced by the Group Theatre in 1935. Clifford Odets, July 18, 1906 to August 14, 1963, was an American playwright, screenwriter, and actor. In the mid-1930s, he was widely seen as the potential successor to Nobel Prize-winning playwright Eugene O'Neill, as O'Neill began to withdraw from Broadway's commercial pressures and increasing critical backlash. From January 1935, Odets's socially relevant dramas were extremely influential, particularly for the remainder of the Great Depression. His works inspired the next several generations of playwrights, including Arthur Miller, Paddy Chayefsky, Neil Simon, and David Mamet. After the production of his play Clash by Night in the 1941-42 season, Odets focused his energies primarily on film projects, remaining in Hollywood until mid-1948. He returned to New York for 5.5 years, during which time he produced 3 more Broadway plays, only one of which was a success. His prominence was eventually eclipsed by Miller, Tennessee Williams, and, in the early to mid-1950s, William Ing. Summary and characters. The play is set in the Bronx borough of New York City, New York, in 1933. It concerns the impoverished Berger family, who all live under one roof, and their conflicts as the parents scheme to manipulate their children's relationships to their own ends, while their children strive for their own dreams. The audience is introduced to a unique family. The matriarch of the family, Bessie, had high hopes and dreams for her family. However, despite her hopefulness, her largest fear is that her family will lose their home and all their possessions. This fear stems from a woman down the street who had this exact thing happen to her. The household consists of extended families such as Bessie's father, Jacob, her husband Myron, and their son Ralph, 21, and spinster daughter Henny, 26. To top it all off, in order to ease the financial burden on the family, the Bergers have taken in an immigrant boarder named Sam. Besides the desire for financial stability, there are other problems that the Bergers face, such as Henny's unwanted pregnancy. To avoid this burden on the family, Bessie insists on the marriage between Henny and the new immigrant boarder in order to save her family's reputation and her daughter's life. Henny has no love for Sam. The family has very different views on the arranged marriage between Henny and Sam. For example, Ralph, a more philosophical character of the play, is not in agreement with his mother's decision. Ralph very much resembles his grandfather, who is an idealist. The Berger house is therefore divided into idealists and realists, much like society as a whole. In a turn of events, Jacob commits suicide after making Ralph the beneficiary of his life insurance policy, in hopes that this will give Ralph the freedom for which he yearns. Themes. Odets brings to the table the issues of the importance of appearances in relation to respectability in society. How we appear to society is how we improve and gain status, as well as the contrasting worlds of idealism and realism. Odets also presents the contrasting of materialistic ideals and the importance of money in society. Through his writing, he zooms in on the economic burden that is placed on society and how it affects the lives of humans and the way they live their lives. He also shows how values can become blurred and perceptions can change with experience. Characters. Myron Berger, the father of the family. Bessie Berger, his wife. Henny Berger, their daughter, age 26. Ralph Berger, their son, age 21. Uncle Morty, Bessie's brother, a successful businessman. Jacob, father of Bessie and Morty, a Marxist, he lives with the Bergers. Mo Axelrod, a friend of the family who eventually boards with the Bergers. Sam Feinschreiber, an immigrant who courts Henny. Schlosser, the janitor in the Bergers' apartment building. The Berger family teeters on the brink of middle-class status, making them particularly susceptible to the harsh realities of life. To reject the notion of the American dream would seemingly consign them to a perpetual state of want. Their persistent theme is one of escape and evasion. Whether through marriage, sheer luck, a fervent allegiance to political or social illusions, a cynical sense of humor, self-delusion, or, most desperately, contemplating suicide, akin to the fate that awaited Willy Loman in Death of a Salesman, their actions are driven by a desire to free the next generation from their struggles. In the precarious space between middle and working class, the Berger family faces the constant challenge of navigating their circumstances. Refusing to acknowledge the American dream's existence would seemingly condemn them to a life of perpetual need. Their prevailing motif revolves around the idea of escape, be it through marriage, reliance on luck, a desperate commitment to political or social myths, a dark sense of humor, self-deception, or, in the most desperate cases, contemplating suicide. This latter option, reminiscent of Willy Loman's tragic end in Death of a Salesman, is envisioned as a means to secure liberation for the generations that follow. Situated on the edge of middle-class stability, the Berger family stands at a precarious juncture where denial of the American dream could potentially relegate them to a state of lasting scarcity. Their overarching theme revolves around the pursuit of escape, manifested through various avenues such as marriage, reliance on luck, a fervent dedication to political or social illusions, a wry sense of humor, self-deception, and, in the most dire instances, contemplation of suicide. This last resort echoes the tragic fate of Willy Loman in Death of a Salesman, with the intention of freeing the subsequent generation from the family's struggles. Constriction, as portrayed in Our Town, can paradoxically offer stability and safety, exemplified by the comforting routine of life in small-town families. Thornton Wilder's characters may catch fleeting glimpses of an external world, yet they do not actively seek liberation from the unchanging universe of Grover's Corners. Their resilience lies in their steadfast immobility. In contrast, Awake and Sing, penned in the same era as Our Town by Clifford Odets, presents a socially stark departure. The urban Jewish Berger family, grappling with adversity, has ascended from immigrant poverty to a working-class position amid the Great Depression. Within this milieu, emotional, economic, and cultural stagnation and dislocation reign supreme. Through the Bergers, Odets articulates the pressing need of 1930s Americans to transcend economic hardship. The narrative underscores the imperative to break free from idealized political and social solutions, as well as the constraining and tumultuous dynamics of family relationships. The objective is to ascend towards a more stable societal standing. In Awake and Sing, the Bergers symbolize a call for liberation from the constraints of economic deprivation, urging a departure from idealized solutions and navigating complex family dynamics toward a more secure societal foothold. In a candid revelation to the New York World Telegram, Clifford Odets once bared the emotional impetus behind his creation of Awake and Sing. He declared, "Understand that I am supposed to confess how I came to write Awake and Sing. I was sore, that's why I wrote the play. I was sore at my whole life." Odets, initially an unhappy and moderately skilled actor, underwent a transformative shift to become a playwright and a prominent voice in social drama during the 1930s. His tumultuous early years were marked by personal struggles, and he claimed to have attempted suicide 3 times before reaching the age of 25. Born in 1906 in Philadelphia as the eldest of 3 siblings, Odets experienced a life of hardship. His father, Louis, a Russian Jewish immigrant, held various jobs such as selling newspapers and peddling salt, while his mother, Pearl, worked in a factory. The family relocated to the Bronx when Odets was 6, where his father, through hard work, progressed from a feeder in a printing plant to eventually owning the company. Subsequently moving back to Philadelphia, Louis Odets ascended to vice president of a boiler company and owned an advertising agency. Despite the family's upward mobility from the working class to the prosperous middle class, Odets described himself as a melancholy kid. His relationship with his father was challenging, with the elder Odets desiring his son to join the advertising business rather than pursue acting. Odets, opting out of high school after his sophomore year, experimented with poetry, further infuriating his father, who even smashed his son's typewriter. Eventually, Louis Odets replaced the typewriter and reluctantly granted permission for Clifford to pursue a career in acting. This tumultuous familial and personal backdrop laid the foundation for the deep-seated emotions that fueled Odets' creative endeavors and, notably, Awake and Sing. During the late 1920s, Clifford Odets immersed himself in a variety of artistic pursuits, laying the groundwork for his future career as a playwright. He engaged in acting with an amateur theater group, took on the role of an announcer for a small Bronx radio station, crafted radio plays, recited poetry on air, performed in vaudeville for a modest fee of $1 per night, and participated in melodramas produced by a stock company. His initial foray onto the Broadway stage occurred as an understudy for Spencer Tracy in a largely forgotten play titled Conflict. Odets then transitioned to the Theatre Guild, a significant theater collaborative with a 12-year history that focused on producing non-commercial American and foreign plays on Broadway. The pivotal year of 1931 marked the true beginning of Odets' career when he joined the group theater. This innovative theater collective, founded by Harold Clurman, Cheryl Crawford, and Lee Strasberg, who would later establish the renowned Actors Studio, had a profound impact on American theater for a decade. Inspired by the method acting principles of Konstantin Stanislavski and the naturalistic acting style of David Kessler from the Yiddish theater, witnessed by Strasberg during his childhood, the group theater emerged as an ensemble committed to producing socially relevant, occasionally leftist dramas. Serving as a training ground for actors, the group theater championed naturalistic, powerful, and disciplined artistry. It pioneered what would evolve into the distinctive American acting technique known simply as the method. This period marked Odets' immersion into a transformative era in the American theatrical landscape, shaping his artistic sensibilities and setting the stage for his impactful contributions as a playwright. Clifford Odets initially took on minor roles for the group theater, starting with their inaugural production, Paul Green's The House of Connolly. Despite his participation, Odets went largely unnoticed by critics, and his frustration mounted due to the lack of advancement to more prominent roles. In 1933, he managed to secure a leading role in They All Came to Moscow, portraying a patriotic Russian husband. However, his discontent with the acting trajectory led him to explore playwriting in 1932, initially focusing on a play about Beethoven. Reflecting in his diary, Odets expressed his uncertainty, stating, "Here I am writing the Beethoven play, which when it is finished may not even be about Beethoven. Why not write something about the Greenberg family, something I know better, something that is closer to me?" During the winter of 1932-33, residing in a small room within the group theater's community apartment shared by financially struggling members, Odets penned, "I Got the Blues." Transforming the surname from Greenberg to Berger, the play eventually evolved into Awake and Sing. In 1934, Odets briefly joined the Communist Party for 8 months, driven by a genuine belief that it offered a solution to the challenges of the time. Simultaneously, he wrote Waiting for Lefty, a revolutionary work that would define his career as a playwright. Inspired by the New York taxi strike of February 1934, the play unfolds in 7 vignettes, separated by blackouts, transforming the theater into a union hall where cabbies gather to plan a strike for better wages, eagerly awaiting the arrival of Lefty Costello, their elected chairman. Described by Harold Clurman as a work of originality and fire, Waiting for Lefty served as a fervent indictment of capitalism, championing the dignity and self-worth of every individual and family. Premiering in January 1935, the play became an immediate sensation on Broadway by March and reached 30 cities by July. The success of Waiting for Lefty played a pivotal role in the group theater's decision to produce Odets' earlier work, Awake and Sing, which premiered at the Belasco Theater on February 19, 1935. The momentum generated by Lefty further solidified Odets' standing as a prominent and influential playwright of his time. The analysis of Clifford Odets' Awake and Sing provides insights into the profound social and familial dynamics portrayed in the play. As examined by C. W. E. Bigsby in A Critical Introduction to American Drama, Volume 1, 1900-1940, the Berger family is depicted as being on the cusp of the middle class, rendering them particularly susceptible to the challenges of their time. Denying the reality of the American dream is seen as condemning them to perpetual deprivation. The pervasive theme is one of flight and escape, as the family seeks liberation from their situation through various means such as marriage, luck, a commitment to political or social myths, sardonic humor, self-deceit, and even, most desperately, through suicide, a theme reminiscent of Willy Loman's tragic fate in Death of a Salesman. In contrast to the idyllic portrayal of small-town life in Thornton Wilder's Our Town, Awaken. Sing stands as a stark social contrast. Odets explores the struggles of the urban Jewish Berger family, rising from immigrant poverty to a working-class plateau during the Great Depression. The prevailing reality for the Bergers is marked by emotional, economic, and cultural stagnation and dislocation. Through the Bergers, Odets speaks to the imperative for Americans in the 1930s to break free from economic deprivation and transcend idealized political and social solutions. The play delves into the complexities of family relationships, portraying them as both stultifying and volcanic, in the pursuit of ascending to a more stable societal position. The personal background of Clifford Odets adds depth to the understanding of Awake and Sing. Odets' confession in the New York World Telegram reveals that he wrote the play out of discontent with his own life. Before becoming a playwright, Odets grappled with unhappiness and marginal talent as an actor, attempting suicide multiple times before the age of 25. Born into a family that experienced upward mobility from the working class to the prosperous middle class, Odets had a challenging relationship with his father. Despite his family's success, he described himself as a melancholy kid. The tensions with his father, who opposed his ambition to become an actor, led Odets to drop out of high school and experiment with poetry. Eventually granted permission to pursue acting, he embarked on a journey that included various roles, radio work, and entry into the theater guild. Odets' involvement with the group theater marked a pivotal point in his career. This theater collective, influenced by the method acting teachings of Konstantin Stanislavski and the naturalistic acting of the Yiddish theater, sought to produce socially relevant, sometimes leftist dramas. Odets' transition to playwriting, catalyzed by his frustrations as an actor and fueled by personal struggles, resulted in significant works like I Got the Blues and, ultimately, Awake and Sing. The culmination of Odets' career as a playwright includes the revolutionary work, Waiting for Lefty, inspired by the New York taxi strike of 1934. This play, described as a product of its time, served as a passionate indictment of capitalism and a declaration of the right of every individual and family to dignity and self-worth. Its success contributed to the group theater's decision to produce Odets' earlier work, Awake and Sing, which debuted at the Belasco Theater on February 19, 1935. Awake and Sing is characterized as a conventionally structured three-act drama, drawing its title from a biblical reference in Isaiah 26:19. Set in the Berger family's Bronx tenement apartment, the play explores relationships, ambitions, and frustrations with both intensity and humor. Bessie Berger, the archetypal Jewish mother, emerges as the play's antagonist, driven by a strong-willed and materialistic commitment to preserving the family's respectability. The characters, including Bessie and Myron's grown children, the wise immigrant grandfather Jacob, and Uncle Morty, contribute to the multifaceted exploration of familial dynamics. Ralph and Henny, the Berger siblings, face challenges and pursue romantic interests, adding layers to the narrative. The character Mo Axelrod, a war veteran and boarder in the Berger household, introduces a vital and life-affirming presence. In summary, Awake and Sing stands as a powerful exploration of familial and societal struggles during the Great Depression. Clifford Odets' personal experiences, coupled with the influence of the group theater and his transition from acting to playwriting, contribute to the depth and authenticity of the play. The themes of economic deprivation, the quest for dignity, and the complexities of family relationships converge in a poignant narrative that continues to resonate with audiences. The dramatic core of Awake and Sing revolves around the fervent attempts of Ralph and Henny to liberate themselves from the constraining environment that stifles their aspirations. Their allies in this quest are Mo and, notably, Jacob, who consistently clashes with his daughter Bessie. Jacob, a fated Marxist idealist, challenges the very structure of the family, echoing Marx's sentiments by urging the abolition of such familial configurations. He implores Ralph to engage in a fight against societal norms, emphasizing the importance of resisting a life defined solely by monetary values. In contrast to Jacob's idealism, Bessie, characterized as the archetypal Jewish mother, dismisses her father's political stance with a sarcastic retort, "Go fight City Hall." Bessie, driven by a strong-willed and materialistic commitment to maintaining the family's respectability, manipulates the lives of her children to align with her vision. She forces Henny into a marriage with Sam, urging her to let him believe the child is his. Additionally, upon learning of Ralph's romantic involvement, Bessie interferes to prevent the family from losing the financial support provided by his weekly salary. Henny's marital union unfolds predictably unhappily, and after a year, she reveals the truth about the child to Sam, leading to a critical turning point in the play. Ralph's outrage at the deception prompts a confrontation with his mother, where he holds her accountable for the family's troubles. In response to Ralph's reproaches, Bessie directs her anger toward Jacob, symbolically breaking the cherished opera records that hold aesthetic and spiritual significance for her father. Amidst the familial turmoil, Jacob imparts a final piece of advice to Ralph, encouraging him to follow his heart and bring about a personal revolution through action. Reflecting on his own missed opportunities, Jacob warns against inaction, stating, "A man who had golden opportunities but drank instead a glass of tea." Subsequently, Jacob ascends to the roof, ostensibly to exorcise the dog Tootsie, but tragically takes his own life by falling to his death. In the aftermath of Jacob's suicide, a dazed Bessie turns to Mo for support. She requests him to call her brother Morty with the news, yet he refuses. Hesitantly, Bessie takes on the responsibility and dials Morty's number, marking a poignant moment in the unfolding tragedy of the Berger family. The play captures the complexities of familial relationships, the clash of generational ideologies, and the profound impact of individual choices on the collective fabric of the family. The concluding moments of Awake and Sing encapsulate the shifting dynamics and decisions of the characters, marking a poignant and transformative conclusion to the play. Ralph, after learning about the insurance money and declaring his independence by refusing to share it with the family, dismisses Bessie's perspectives, stating, "Mom, what does she know? She's old-fashioned." This declaration reveals Ralph's desire for autonomy and a departure from traditional family expectations. Bessie, weary and reflecting on her own unfulfilled desires, shares a poignant secret with Ralph. She discloses that, like him, she harbored a burning desire to go away and live a different life. However, the responsibilities of motherhood prevented her from realizing this aspiration. Bessie expresses the metaphorical fire burning in her heart, acknowledging the constraints imposed by societal expectations on women, especially mothers. The passage conveys a sense of resignation and the irreversible passage of time, symbolized by the ticking clock and the acknowledgement that certain aspects of life cannot be altered or fixed. As Bessie retreats to bed, Mo announces his departure for a new life in Cuba, expressing his love for Henny. Henny, in turn, agrees to abandon her husband and child to accompany Mo. This decision further underscores the theme of individuals seeking liberation from the constraints of their current circumstances. Ralph, in a decisive moment, chooses not to take the insurance money, embodying a rejection of material concerns and a willingness to forge his path independently. He articulates a broader sentiment, asserting that Jake's death should not be a catalyst for familial discord over financial matters. Instead, Ralph sees it as a symbolic transition, Jake's passing signifying the end of one generation and Ralph's emergence into adulthood. The departure of Henny and Mo signifies a break from the familial ties and societal expectations that have defined their lives. Ralph, standing, full and strong in the doorway, witnesses their departure. The curtain falls slowly, marking the conclusion of the play and capturing a moment of significant change and the beginning of a new chapter for the characters. The final scenes encapsulate the complex interplay of familial expectations, individual desires, and the pursuit of independence. The characters' decisions and the symbolic act of refusing the insurance money underscore the themes of personal agency and the cyclical nature of life, where one generation gives way to the next. The debut of Awake and Sing in 1935 occurred during a crucial juncture in American history, coinciding with the depths of the Great Depression. This period was marked by economic hardship, and it was also the year when the Roosevelt administration's New Deal initiatives began the slow process of steering the nation toward economic recovery. Concurrently, the rise of fascism in Europe and a prevailing tendency toward isolationism in the United States raised concerns, particularly among liberals and leftists. In parallel with Odets' earlier work, Waiting for Lefty, Awake and Sing contains elements of Marxist propagandizing, reflecting the social and political preoccupations of its author and the era. However, the play's real strength lies in Odets' skillful creation of robust and interesting characters and their compelling interactions. Despite the injection of ideological themes, the heart of the play is in the intimate portrayal of individuals grappling with survival and the complexities of their relationships. Awake and Sing captures the essence of effective drama by raising as many questions as it answers. The play, set against the backdrop of a struggling family during the Depression, concludes on an optimistic note. However, the fates of characters like Ralph and Henny remain ambiguous. Henny's departure with Mo signifies positive action against the constraints of her life, but it also involves flouting morality and responsibility by leaving her husband and child behind. The character of Ralph, defined by idealism, introduces an element of uncertainty. It remains unclear whether he will achieve his aspirations or succumb to the unrealistic romanticism embodied by his father, Myron. Nevertheless, Odets underscores the importance of action for its own sake over perpetual stagnation. In contrast to the universal nostalgia for certainty depicted in Thornton Wilder's Our Town, Odets emphasizes the need to look outward and move forward. Breaking free from the grip of family limitations, honoring American dreams, and striving for liberation for future generations become central themes. The play serves as a reminder of the imperative to confront challenges actively, even in the face of uncertainty, and to work towards a better future. Source: Daniel S. Burke, The Drama 100A Ranking of the Greatest Plays of All Time. https://chat.openai.com/c/06ff7c13-9f-4735-BCA3 79,353,588 AFBC #. Text equals source %3a %20 Daniel %20 s. %20 bird %20 the %20 drama %20,100 %20 a %20 ranking %20 of %20 the %20 greatest %20 plays %20 of %20 all %20 time. https://www.google.com/amp/literariness.org/2020/09/03/analysis-of-clifford-odets-awake-and-sing/amp/